Hey, Shalawam, Shalawam. Alright. First and foremost, facing the east, giving all praises, honor, and glory be to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rakakwadash. Those are the true names of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Yahawah is the Father's true name. That means he exists. Bahasham means in the name. Yahawashi is the name of the Son. That means he saves, he delivers. And Rakakwadash is how you say a spirit that's holy, a spirit that's set apart. All right. That's in the Lashawan Kodash, the Paleo Hebrew. And then second of all, double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the great millstone that rule well and teach well in sincerity, taught us this truth. And Shalawam to the Lord's hopeful elect. It's your brother Yerami Kazak back with hopefully another edifying lesson through the spirit, power, and strength of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rakakwadash. And we're going to go into bitterness. Destroys the heart, pretty much. It destroys yourself. All right, it's the same as sin. Okay. So I'm gonna go over to. I was just watching what happened with Joseph, and his brothers, and that came a lot. It spoke a lot to me. All right. Pertaining to this situation. So I'll start over there. Let's go to Genesis, the 37th chapter. And we'll start at the top. All right. And I want the whole chart to be in there. I don't know why it's like that. I'll bring it back some. All right. That's good. All right. Genesis 37:1. And Jacob dwelt in the land wherein his father was a stranger, in the land of Canaan. These are the generations of Jacob. Joseph, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brethren, and the lad was with the sons of Bilhah and with the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives. And Joseph brought unto his father their evil report. Now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age, and he made him a coat of many colors. And when his brethren saw that their father loved him more than all his brethren, they hated him and could not speak peaceably unto him. Now, that's where a point of bitterness sets in, and envy and jealousy sets in, right? Okay, so I'm going to read what bitterness is, just as simply in the AI. All right, bitterness. And it says, it's a deep emotional state of lasting resentment, anger, and hostility caused by a perceived unfairness, betrayal, or hurt. So this is what they were feeling. They were feeling that because they saw that their father loved Joseph more than them. But that's just how it was. Okay? That's just how life is. Like, we can look at the heathens right now, and if they know the truth, they get extremely bitter. They have hate. They have jealousy. They have, because the Most High chose us. Okay? But that's just how it is. So, just as the Most High has a chosen nation, he has favorites, such as the lily, the dove. He has Israel. He has chosen things. Men as well. You have chosen things. You have favorites, which you pick. Right? My favorite color is blue. I like green. I like yellow, but my favorite color is blue. Right? We all have favorite things. It's like, be realistic with your life. Okay? Like my grandmother, she has, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. She has 9 grandkids. And I'm her favorite out of 9 grandkids. But that's just realistic. That's the reality of the matter. Right? So it's no reason for the other grandkids to get bitter. Okay? So when you feel like these type of thoughts or whatever coming on yourself, you got to fight them off. You got to rebuke these thoughts. So this is verse 5. And Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it his brethren, and they hated him yet the more. Now Joseph was already, in a sense, like a tattletale. All right, but that's not wicked. That's not wicked. He was doing what he's supposed to do. Right? Because it said he brought to his father the evil report of his brothers for what they had done. So sinners would be very bitter and envious and hateful because we're what? We're correcting them. We're exposing them. Esau is a very bitter individual. He has a lot of hate in his heart for his brother. See, so this is it's very same, that's a characteristic of an Edomite. Going all the way back to Cain. That's a main characteristic, man. Why did he slay Abel? Right? Let's go get that real quick. Genesis 4, and we'll start at the top. And Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from Yahawah. And she again bare his brother Abel. And Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. There's nothing wrong with being a tiller of the ground. Nothing wrong with being a keeper of the sheep. Right? But when it comes to a sacrifice, the Most High requireth blood. He requireth blood. So Cain, knowing the law, how did he know the law? Because the law was given to what? To Adam. So Adam passed it down to his sons. Right? We understand that through Genesis, the 2nd chapter, verse 7. The breath of life was given to Adam. He became a living soul. He was quickened. He had that understanding of the law verbally given to him. So he passed it down to his sons because that's what you're supposed to do. So Cain knew that the Most High requireth blood. He went to give a sacrifice in general. He knew, but he chose to give an unworthy sacrifice, a vain sacrifice. Right? So you don't want to be on that side of the fence, giving a vain sacrifice. And that's a lot of these Israelites today, especially Esau, All right? You consider your works to be prosperous and to be pleasing to the Most High, but at the end of the day, it's really not. Verse 3, and in process of time it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto Yahawah. And Abel, he also brought of the firstlings of the flock and of the fat thereof. And Yahawah had respect unto Abel and to his offering. But unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. And Yahawah said unto Cain, why art thou wroth, and why is thy countenance fallen? And because what? Cain, the same as Esau, bro. He wants the respect of the Most High. You want what? You would want the respect. You want the love. You want to be accepted. This is what it's about to tell you. All you had to do was do right to get that which you desire. Right? But Esau is Mr. Can't get right from the very beginning. So he could never give the proper sacrifice. It's not in his spirit. He was created to be the wicked. According to Proverbs 16:4, that's his purpose, to be wicked, to go off. So no matter how much he wants to do right, he will never do right. And that furthermore ties into no free will. So verse 7, if thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door, and unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. Right? So as we said in the round table yesterday, sin lieth at the door. It's there for individuals that want to go off. You want to do your own thing. You don't want to follow the laws, commandments, and statutes. Keep the faith in Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. You think you got it? Okay, go ahead. Sin is ultimately going to overtake you because that's sin in itself. The lust of your own ways. Not following the way that the government has established and set up. All right? That's why when you see these guys, they're hateful. They want to fight us. They're envious. They're jealous. Okay? They have many different attributes and characteristics of these Edomites. That's those type of characteristics. Where the law talks about you come to your brother, you talk it out, you squash it out, and you don't hold no grudge. So if you are doing the opposite of that, then are you truly following the law? You have to ask yourself that question. Are you truly a man of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi? The answer would be no. Because you're moving in strife and hate. All right? For a fellow brother. We ain't talking about the enemies. The enemies is whatever. They get to smoke. But a fellow Israelite, you should never have that type of emotion to them. All right? I'm talking about a brother that's calling on Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi and doing what he's supposed to do. 2/3, it is what it is. You know? Hey, we still don't want them to, we don't know who's a 2/3 or not. Now, it's characteristics, okay? But we can't say anybody's a 2/3 or 1/3, because Yahawah could turn somebody around at the end of the day. So as we go, we want our brothers to get right. We put this water out there, that living water. If you want to come and drink it and get right and change your ways, then, hey, great. If you don't, then do your thing. We're going to let Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi decide that. But we do mark them. We do mark them that cause division, that bring offenses. We do mark them, right? We have to do that as judges. So judgment, all right, rebuke, correction, these things are in our nation. So when these guys come out and be like, yeah, no judgment. Nah, it's judgment. And even you people in the world, y'all talking about no judge. You judging. You're always judging. You looking at somebody's shoes right now and judging. You looking at somebody's clothes, the way they wear their clothes and the way they talk, and you're judging. You understand? Judgment is an innate thing that's in you as a human. Everybody judges one another. Okay? So keeping it going. Verse 7, again, Genesis 4. If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted. So just do well. And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door, and unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. Esau is an extremely carnal man, and sin rules over him in everything that he does. This is why his empire, his kingdom is established with sin. It's established and sin is flowing. Sin is free flowing in this kingdom. Look around, This is why our lives would get restricted and took down. But a female on the internet twerking or talking about how she got ran through, all of this type of stuff. Her platform goes up to millions of followers. Right? What was that girl? Ice cream. Ooh, so good. Ice cream. Ooh, so good. Ooh, yeah. Y'all remember her? All right, whatever her name was. That right there, that girl had millions of followers. But the prophets over here, nobody's cleaving unto this. Right? Pinky doll. Yeah, the water. That's it. So that's showing you the mind frame of this kingdom. That it's established in wickedness, and wickedness is flowing in this kingdom. All right? We in the times of Noah once again. So verse 8, and Cain talked with Abel his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and slew him. Now, as we know, what happened with Joseph? What happened with the brothers? They wanted to slay him too because of bitterness, because of hate, because, man, the father loved you more than us. He gave you a coat of, all this type of stuff. Okay? So they had that same characteristic of Cain. But Reuben was like, nah, man, let's just throw him in a pit. Let's not slay him. Okay? That's our brother. That's our blood. Right? Let's just throw him in a pit. And then Judah eventually like, hey, let's just sell him off. Okay? Let's not slay him, but let's make it look like we slayed him. And they gave it to the father, and Israel wept. I'm just really quickly going over it. You know, this ain't going to be a long one. But just showing that that same spirit of bitterness would eventually lead you to what? Wish death for your brother. That's how bitterness builds up. That's what sin does. Because that's a sin. So sin ultimately leads to death for yourself and others. That's what, you know, that's what's happening, man. All right, keeping it going, verse 9. And Yahawah said unto Cain, where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not, am I my brother's keeper? That's a, what's that, man? Facetious or just a smart remark. How would you say that? You're like, is that nigga in my pocket? You know how Jake talk. Is he in my pocket? I don't know where he at. I don't got to look after him. You know how Jake talk. So that's that mindset, man. And that's wicked. At the end of the day, you supposed to help your brother, man. Look after your brother. All right? Lift up your brother. Take care of your brother. Correct your brother. You supposed to, man, love thy neighbor as you love thyself. And Cain knew this because, like I said earlier, Adam gave him the law. It was taught to him. You think Adam was wicked or something? He was just not teaching the law in his household? No. And that you can see that today if you got kids. Your kids may get in arguments and fights and whatever. And then you have to go and intervene and correct them. And you got to bring the law up. You know? No, y'all need to share these toys. No, hey, no, give him some of that. Y'all need to share. Be nice. Be kind to one another. We have to fix these things up in general. Right? So, believe Adam was doing the same thing with Cain and Abel, man. Right? But Cain is just that one kid that can't get right. And it leads on into adulthood. Right? So verse 10. And he said, what hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground. And now art thou cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shall thou be in the earth. So now Cain is getting cursed. And he's what? He's bitter. He's bitter towards Abel. And he's bitter towards Yahawah. But he's also bitter towards himself. Because he did this to himself. All right? Failing to understand that an Edomite is known for not holding themselves accountable. Okay? They're going and doing all this wickedness in the earth and they don't think the Most High is going to judge them. So that's why it's letting you know they cannot repent. They don't repent, man. They can't hold themselves accountable for their actions, what they have done. They will never do that. They're just going to always try to blame somebody else. And that's also the definition of a crybaby, man. Why don't you just look at yourself and see what you did instead of crying about it, weeping about it? You see the same characteristic with Esau. All right? The same characteristic because what? Esau wept and he was like, can you give me another blessing? But going into that Genesis 27, going 2 chapters back, Genesis 25, you sold your birthright away. So be accountable for what you did. You understand? You did that to yourself. Once again. So as long as Esau lives and continues, this cycle will continue of him doing something wrong, doing something off, and then not holding himself accountable for what he did. He's destroying the planet right now, but he's coming through and making all these global warming and, you know, we need to do away with the cows because they're farting and they're making the ozone. Like, no, bro, cows been on this earth forever. Okay? When have the cows ever been a problem? When did we ever need data centers? When did we ever need all this type of stuff that you're trying to bring? We never needed AI. We never needed all this stuff that you're bringing. But now that the world is on fire because of you knocking down all the trees and putting concrete everywhere, Now you want to blame it on the cows, right? You want to blame it on the population. Almost 8 billion people. You want to say it's too many people on here. That's messing up the whole planet. No, bro. Because you don't understand the law. You don't understand the scriptures. You don't understand the way of life. He doesn't understand life in general. Let's get Habakkuk. Habakkuk 2 and 5. All right, we start at 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. That's how we live. We live by faith. All right. These people of our nation too, they live carnally, just as the Edomites. That's another means, another way to say you aligned it with the beast by living a carnal life, by caring about everything that you possess, your materials. Okay, that's not going to get you through. All right, yeah, perfect point, brother. And the dams, the dams, yes, indeed. All right, Yahawah already created a animal that filtrates the water, and that's a beaver. But Esau goes forth. Somehow this man know that beaver ass tastes like vanilla. I don't know how he know that. I don't know how he knows that. But hey, you know what I'm saying? But he goes forth and kills the beavers and gives you vanilla, flavoring from that. Yeah, wait, what? You sound like my son. He always saying that shit. Wait, what? Yeah. That's what vanilla flavoring is now. All right? Yeah, he labels it as natural flavor. Exactly. So look into that, Don Lord. You'll see. The vanilla, I don't mess with vanilla anymore just because of that. But that's how Esau does, man. Right? So the dams, the animals in general, the plants, the fruits, the rocks, all right? Hey, we ain't doing no back and forth today. Torah life, I'm going to get you up out of here ASAP. All right? I'm teaching a lesson. Okay, so the plants, the fruits, the rocks, the ozone, the clouds, everything, man. Everything is out of order because of what Esau has done. So the beavers can't go forth and actually make natural made dams to filtrate the water how they're supposed to do because of what Esau is doing. We're not supposed to have no Hoover Dam or Niagara Falls and, all this type of stuff. The water is supposed to flow free how it did when Gad and Reuben and Issachar and Zebulun and Asher and Naphtali, right, and was in the land, was over here. They was just going to the streams and drinking. You could watch, I always bring this up, Sitting Bull documentary on Netflix. Or you could just go watch any old documentary on YouTube about the Native Americans. And what was their main water source? They was going to the rivers. They wasn't pissing and shitting in the rivers, man. Okay? The rivers was clean. You could literally go to the river and get some water up out of that thing. That's how clean it was. Look at the Bahamas water. It's clear, straight through. You can see the ground. That's how the planet is going to be, in the kingdom, where you can see straight through to the ground. Because the waters, the shrimp, the lobster, the crab, right, the crawfish, all these animals designed to clean the waters are going to be able to do their design again. They're going to be able to do what they're supposed to do. So therefore, the ocean will be clean once again. But now, boy, you go to, especially down here in LA, you go to Dockweiler, you go to Santa Monica, you go to Venice Beach. All these beaches are full of pollution where the government will come out and say, don't swim in this beach for 2 weeks because it's a pollution leak, blah, blah, blah. So now you can't get in the water anymore. You can't even go to the beach like that, man. You have to go to the white beaches up north like Malibu and Zuma because they actually take care of where they live. They don't let pollution, drainage, sewage drainage leak into their water supply. But the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, the inner city LA, oh, they don't care. All right? They don't care. You getting shit water. They don't care. But that's what the YT man does. He destroys everything, man. All right? So verse 5. And furthermore, the just shall live by his faith. We pray, we fast, we use wisdom, all right? But ultimately, we trust in Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, because all the food that we're eating and stuff is defiled. So you could be organic and vegan and vegetarian all you want, but ultimately, you're still going to process and take in poison. So we live by faith that Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi is going to take care of us while we're ingesting this poison, because it's all poison. All right? Verse 5. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desire as hell and is as deaf and cannot be satisfied. Stemming back to bitterness. Bitter people cannot be satisfied. For brothers that, I don't deal with it, but I know brothers do. All right? Deal with bitter baby mamas. You cannot satisfy her. You cannot. It's extremely impossible, You cannot satisfy her because she is a bitter baby mama. Ultimately, she wants you to be back with her and to suffer that toxicity that she's bringing. You know what I'm saying? That's what she wants. So if you don't want to be with her, then she don't want you to be with anybody. Okay? At the end of the day, she's going to try to make it look like you're not taking care of your kids when the whole time she's not allowing you to be around your kids. She's putting those papers on you, child support, when the kids belong to you according to the Bible. All right? So it's that bitterness. It turns into hate. It turns into jealousy. She'll be mad at your family. You done started a whole nother family, got a whole nother wife, got kids, y'all happy, but she trying to be around to make it turmoil, to make it chaotic. Showing up out of nowhere, Byron, blah, blah, blah. You understand? So it's a part of those curses. That bitterness that we have to deal with. The tender and delicate among us. Okay? All right? The water kakama. I wasn't even gonna address it. All right, it's a sister. All right, sister, I'll address this one time, but for the remainder of the live, I would suggest, according to the scripture, sister, to be silent among the church. And a church is an assembly of Israelites. So this is a church right here. But your question is why they shouldn't have sex before marriage. Marriage is sex, according to Genesis 2:24. According to Genesis 24:67, okay? So marriage is sex. Sex is marriage, according to the Bible, all right? So, go look at those scriptures, all right? Let's get Genesis 24:67 real quick, and then we're going to get back to the point. And it reads, And Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent and took Rebekah, and she became his wife. No paperwork involved. All right? Isaac simply took Rebekah, and she became his wife. And he loved her, and Isaac was comforted after his mother's death. And in Genesis 2:24, and it reads, Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. That's marriage. So it's not talking about any type of paperwork involved. The Most High knows that you didn't have to block her, bro. She said some bullshit. I ain't see it. All right, it's all good. Hey, I trust Kakuma. All right, so the Most High knows that you came together with that woman. He knows that. So you trying to, it's like you saying you're not married if you don't have paperwork. That makes no sense. Okay? And that's actually tying back to the lesson, because this bitterness that individuals may have in their heart, you think the Most High is not seeing it, but he's judging your inwardness. He knows you're bitter towards your fellow brother. He knows that you have this hate towards your fellow brother. All right? He knows what you're plotting and scheming. Okay? So all of that is not going to work out. You can't hide nothing from Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. It all will be exposed. It all comes out. That's why, hey, we just teach this word, bro, and we let him work it out. He gonna take care of us. He's always gonna take care of us. I've heard many stories of brothers being at camp. And it's one time, I think it was the Oklahoma camp or the Indianapolis camp, one of them. But it was this dude, and he was in the car, and he had like automatic weapons, things of that nature. He was sitting in the parking lot right by their camp. And I guess he was planning on doing something, you know? But the Most High made it where the cops pulled up and arrested him. You understand? So we trust in Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. The just shall live by his faith. Okay? So I'm not worrying about, we ain't worried about nobody coming up to camp and popping at us or nothing like that. We ain't worried about all that type of stuff. We doing the work. We doing the will of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. He's going to make a way and provide for us to do this work. Right? So going back to the lesson, Habakkuk 2:5. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, doctrine, his philosophy, the things that he puts out on his planet. We come into this world getting indoctrinated with what? The education system. Okay? Right? So now that we are, we in this truth, we having kids. Hey, I'm trying not to I don't never want my daughter to be in that education system. So I'm homeschooling, doing it to the best of my ability. So we doing what we can to keep our kids up out of this cycle. Or if our kids do have to go to these schools, we making sure they know Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, and they know the laws, commandments, and statutes, and they know the correct way. All right? They teaching you planets and, white man's history. Well, we going to teach you the correct history of the earth, the proper way of the earth, the proper way of things. That's why with my son, who does go to high school, because he played basketball and all of that, and he wanted to go. So I'm like, all right, you could go ahead, whatever. I make sure I ask him what'd you learn today? And then anything that I hear that's BS, I have to fix and correct. So he knows the correct way. So you got to communicate and talk with your kids, man. Be an active parent. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, bro, the heart is deceitful above all things. Who can know it? Jeremiah 17. So you got to consider this, that your kids are more susceptible to all these different type of demons that's trying to mess with them, right? They're young. They're influential, right? I mean, they're influenced easily. So you need to make sure that you rule in your household the correct way and the proper way, all right? That's good. Yeah, the brother said, Khan, I do that also with my girls. Khan, because we all can't homeschool. So you still, you got to fight that enemy by talking. As the scriptures say, it grieveth the enemy when you teach your kids, loosely quoting. So, hey, Esau hates when we teach our kids this truth. So Habakkuk 2:5, keep it going. He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death and cannot be satisfied. Esau is bitter. And furthermore, he's bitter with the entire planet because nobody likes him. Nobody likes him. How you in your kingdom and you the weakest? Like you, and I mean spiritually, physically, all you blessed with is the sword. You need a weapon to actually beat us. You can't beat us in no fist fight, brother. You can't. You can't beat us with your mind. You're not intelligent like us. You can't beat us with the spirit. Your power that the things that you worship is not on a level. You can't beat us with your mental. You put us in slavery, we continue to multiply. All right? We're going to put you in slavery, as the scriptures say. Your numbers are going to be reduced. You're reducing right now. You understand? It's more Edomites dying than are being born. And you can look that up. That's actual factual. It's more Edomites dying than they are being born. And that's because of the scriptures. That's Yahweh's will. Right? So in your kingdom, because you created all these different type of weapons, plan P, what is it? Plan P? Plan B. Salakia. Plan B, abortion, all right? You created all of that. And now your young women are what? They're destroying themselves. They're going out, getting with 5 dudes and getting pregnant and then taking a Planned Parenthood pill. You understand? So these weapons, just like Haman, these weapons that you created for us, your people are taking them and in abundance. And now nobody's having kids. Okay? So it's beautiful. So that bitterness ultimately catches up to you. It ultimately turns on you. But gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Bitter. That hate that you have. You rule. It says your desire is as hell. You bring death with you everywhere you go, man. All right. Verse 6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him? Every nation is going to hate you. And a taunting proverb against him. As it says in Isaiah 14, we should take up a parable, a proverb against the king of Babylon. Okay, so that's what we're doing now. In your kingdom, we, the weakest people in your kingdom, are protesting and stumping you down. Because the spirit is more powerful than the carnal. So therefore, it's going to happen, man. All right? Everything that Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi had his prophets write down is going to happen. And a taunting proverb against him and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long? And to him that laddeth himself with thick clay, with debt. You increaseth that which is not yours. You want that blessing because you're bitter for that blessing. But the blessing is not yours. It was never yours. As Genesis the 25th chapter tells you, when the kids was in the womb, it was already ordained for the youngest to rule over the eldest. So it was never yours. Going back to Cain and Abel, it was never yours. It was Abel's. And then you slayed Abel. So what? We don't die, we multiply. You could take us out. Guess what? Seth rose up. The sons of power got born through Seth. Supposed to be through Abel, but so what? Hey, you took him out. Seth coming. The Most High said it's going to happen regardless. You did what you did to us in the garden. Being a man, a serpent, a what? A warlock. All right. The Most High took you down. All right. Ultimately, he took us down, but he took you down ultimately still. Because what did he do to you? He gave you the dust of the earth. Where same thing with Cain. You tilleth the ground don't care about you. The dust of the earth. You what? You have no understanding. You can't really create. You have dust of the earth. It's not working out for you. Everything you do is not original. Your gods is not original. Greeks, Romans, you stole all that shit from the Egyptians, the Babylonians, and Sumerians. You stole all your religions. You stole our religion. You stole everything. Bro, the only thing that you can produce is death. That's the only thing you was blessed with. The sword, death, fatness of the earth, resources. And then you take that and you destroy it all because you are given the dust of the earth. So all your blessings is for nothing. You deserve it though because you're wicked, man. All right. Exactly. Exodus 1:12. But the more that they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew. And that's showing you that our mental is far greater, man. In slavery, we multiply. We get stronger. All right? Nobody could really survive what we went through. And we not saying that to boast. We saying that to boast on Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. To boast of our power. That he did that for us. You got to understand. That's the only reason. All right? These heathens don't got him. So they couldn't go through everything that we went through. They would have been destroyed by now. Habakkuk 2:7. Shall they not rise up suddenly? That shall bite thee and awake. That shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them. Because thou hast spoiled many nations, because of your bitterness. All the remnant of the people shall spoil thee because of men's blood. and for the violence of the land of the city and of all that dwell therein. Woe to him that covereth an evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. All right. So covetousness, what? That goes into jealousy, envy, bitterness. All these things tie into one another, man. Right? At the end of the day, brother made a good point. He said, Salakia, Salakia, that's why they don't want segregation, because remember Rosewood, remember Black Wall Street. We was segregated and we was doing far more than they could ever do. We was good by ourselves. All right? Let us be by ourselves. Shoot, you could have did that. We left y'all alone. We ain't got no problem with y'all, man. Jacob is a plain man. We just want to dwell, chill, sip some yayan. I'm about to sip some yayan after this lesson and chill back and relax on this Shabbat. You know what I'm saying? That's all we want to do. I'm waiting on my lady to come home. You know, we could kick it and watch a show. You know, what we watching right now? We watching Heroes right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to chill. I'm just trying to relax. But Esau out here, he want to kill somebody. He want to go out here and, you know, bro, we are calm, peaceful people. But don't mess with us. Or don't come at us the wrong way. You trying to rouse us up. You don't want to rouse up a lion. You understand? I'm cool with you. I'm chilling with you. But you come with the wrong energy, then I'm going to meet you with that energy, man. All right? And not in a carnal way, in a spiritual way. I'm waiting on Yahawashi to meet you with the energy that you bringing on us. I know I can't meet you with weapons. I can't meet you with a military. I can't meet you with my fists in that way because you're going to shoot me down. You're going to take me out. So I got to wait because this is all spiritual that you have been rose up. All right? So, hey, do what you got to do. Our king is coming. You know what I'm saying? And that's factual. That's actual factual. The just shall live by his faith. Right? So let's go back to Genesis, the 37th chapter. And, you know, we could begin to wrap it up. Like I said, I didn't want this to be a long one. This is just a quick one on bitterness. And don't let bitterness, because bitterness is just a sin. It's the same thing. Don't let it overcome you because it festers in your body like a tumor. You understand? That's what it does. It festers in your body like a tumor, man. And before you know it, you in stage 4 cancer. All right? It's pretty much done because you let it fester for that long. You got to check bitterness in stage 1. Oh, nah, you know what? I'm tripping, man. That's a demon. Man, you know what? Hey, I'm tripping. Rebuke yourself. Go to your brother. Hey, bro, I heard you said this, bro. You bro, I ain't me. That wasn't about you. What the hell is you talking about, bro? I love you, bro. You know? So it's not, don't let these presumptuous thoughts mess you up. All right? You know what I'm saying? So it's important to, like I said with my kids, communicate. Communication is key to every relationship. And that goes back to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. If you're not praying, fasting, talking, communicating with him, how you going to have a strong relationship? You're not talking. I ain't even talking about doing lessons. I'm talking about simply praying and talking to him, man. How many of y'all simply talk to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi every day? You need to talk to him every day. First thing you do is talk to him. Wake up and talk to him. That's bro. I'm telling you, that adds so much to your day. Start your day off by talking to your husband. All right? Because we are a woman to the Lord. So start your day off by talking to your husband, man. Okay? All right, let's keep it going. Genesis 37. And Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it his brethren, and they hated him yet the more. So that bitterness, it festers and it grows. The more that Yahawah dealt with Joseph, it grew and it egged his brothers on. Verse 6, and he said unto them, hear, I pray you, this dream which I have dreamed. For behold, we were binding sheaves in the field, and lo, my sheaf arose and also stood upright, and behold, your sheaves stood round about and made obeisance to my sheaf. And his brethren said to him, shalt thou indeed reign over us? Or shalt thou indeed have dominion over us? And they hated him yet the more for his dreams and for his words. But the Most High was showing what was to come to pass, with Joseph being a governor in Egypt and actually ruling over them. But Joseph didn't allow the bitterness to fester in him over time. Because what happened, as we told the story, I ain't going to read it all, but summarizing it again, these things kept happening. And his brothers eventually threw him in a well, and then they pulled him up and they sold him to the other nations. And then they sold him to the Egyptians. And Yahawah had favor on him in Egypt, right? And ultimately rose him up. But Joseph also realized, don't, and I'm not saying to shine, the reduce your light or anything, but just be mindful. Be mindful of the way that you move around people, because everybody's not your friend, bro. All right? All your family members is not your friend. Okay? You telling people, yeah, man, Yahawah he gave me a new job. He gave me this. He gave me that. These motherfuckers may hate the hell out of you. You understand? they may be in their mind, fuck, Yahawah still dealing with him? Damn. I've been praying on his downfall. You understand? So, bitterness. Everybody doesn't have a relationship with Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. A true relationship. Some people moving in the vibration of Cain, of Esau. And you know that. So this is why Yahawashi told us best. Don't cast your pearls unto swine, man. Okay? I'm not telling everybody at the gas station that's an Israelite, hey, bro, you Jake, bro. What's your father, bro? You Negro, you Judah, Ak. He gonna look at me like I'm stupid, bro. What the fuck? Like, what's wrong with this guy? All right? The Most High draws them. John 6:44. Allow him to do that. You don't have to go out there and protest in the streets like an IUIC and walk up and down the streets, man. Okay? You know what I'm saying? That's not what you need to be doing. All right? So don't cast your pearls unto swine. Understand, everybody's not your friend. Everybody's not looking for you to succeed. And that's what Joseph had to eventually find out. But he didn't let that bitterness fester in him. He didn't allow that to happen. He what? He in turn, he set his brothers up. He recognized and understood those dreams. And they came to pass. So when he was in a position to slay his brothers, he didn't slay his brothers. So you have to have this same love for your brother. Let's get this real quick. All right. Yahawashi told us this. This is Matthew, the 18th chapter, verse 21. Then came Peter to him and said, Lord, how often shall my brother sin against me and I forgive him? Till 7 times? A complete number of times? Yahawashi said unto him, I say not unto thee unto 7 times, but unto 70 times 7. Therefore is the kingdom of heaven likened unto a certain king which would take account of his servants. And when he had begun to reckon, one was brought unto him, which owed him 10,000 talents. But forasmuch as he had not to pay, his Lord commanded him to be sold, and his wife and children and all that he had in payment to be made. The servant therefore fell down and worshipped him, saying, Lord, have patience with me, and I will pay thee all. You got to give compassion to your brothers, man. All right? Now, hey, you recognize that they in a wicked spirit. Okay? They want to do harm to you and stuff like that. Well, distance yourself. Okay? But don't hold no bitterness towards them in your heart. I'm talking about your fellow Israelite. I don't hold no bitterness to a 2/3. It's up to Yahawah for them to be how they are. I'm not holding no bitterness. What's that song, man? I used to, Mary J. Blige, my mom used to play it. It's a song called Baggage. All of this baggage with me. So it's the same as Erykah Badu. Bag lady, you gonna hurt your back, right? We not carrying all that shit with us, man. You understand? I got too much to worry about. I got bills that's past due. I got a lot of shit going on. You understand? I'm not worrying about another Jake, bro. And how you feel about me. Things of that nature. I'm not holding no bitterness or no hate. Right? So my conscience is clean. All right? We fighting against Esau, not against one another. And that's what 2/3 can't understand. All right? Your eyes are evil towards your brother. We in the wrong position, bro. You in the wrong position. But that's going back to Deuteronomy 28:54, right? The tender and delicate among us. And that's what? Bitterness. You tender and delicate, you have, let's get that real quick. You know? So pretty much soft. You know, Jake, you hate to be called soft, but that's what the scriptures is calling you. Soft. Deuteronomy 28:54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, a soft emotionally. You could be big as the rock. It don't matter. You could be big as the rock, benching 445, whatever. But you tender and delicate in the spirit and emotionally. You let everything get to you. You know? Man, this dude said that I can't lift weights. But you lift weights every day. Or this dude said that I can't beat his ass. Does that matter, bro? Does what somebody say about you really matter? Okay? No, it doesn't. I don't care if you think I'm ugly or you don't like my clothes or you don't like my shoes or I don't care, bro. You don't pay my bills. You don't make me shit. You don't make me piss. All right? You don't take care of my kids. Okay? You don't do none of that. You don't pray for me. You don't work out my own salvation. Okay? So, what do you, yeah? So, keep that in mind, man. You just gotta brush shit off. Now, if a brother that you listen to, all right, camp brothers among you, and they rebuke you and give you correction, you listen, most definitely. So you take it in the same way that David, I think it was Shamael, he listened to him. He listened to what he said. He said Yahawah had him do that. Yahawah had him throw rocks at us. Yahawah had him rebuke us. Yahawah had him do that. So you listen to both sides, but you have to have discernment and understand what's really important, what matters. And then furthermore, cleaning up your conscience, it should be happening when you examine yourself every single day. You should examine yourself every single day, man. All right? So let's get this, and I'm going to get some of y'all brothers' precepts, and then we're going to get up on out of here. Deuteronomy 28:54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, soft, his eyes shall be evil towards his brother. That's bitterness, hatred, covetousness, jealousy. Okay? Why are you evil towards another man? You want his position. You feel like you've been wronged. Okay? Well, I'm telling you, most of the time, bro, you thinking about somebody else. They're not thinking about you. They're not. They're going on living. Your ex or whatever, she out there probably fucking somebody else right now. You understand? She not thinking about you. She's not. You know? That's not what's going on. You know? And you over here Carl Thomason it up over her. You Usher Raymond over her. You Chris Browning over her. You know? I need you, boo. I want to see you, boo. Hey, it's like you, man. It's like, but for real, man. You over here pissed, having a crybaby fest over her. She's not doing the same over you. So ultimately, make wisdom your wife. Trust in Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, man. All right? Don't allow Proverbs 31:3. Don't give your power to women. Okay? I said his heart's all over the world tonight. Yeah, that's it, bro. So once again, Deuteronomy 28:54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil towards his brother and towards the wife of his bosom. All right, so towards your baby mama, towards the woman that had a kid with you, you're going to hate her. And then vice versa, as it tells you in the 56th chapter. the 56th verse. And towards the remnant of his children, which he shall leave. This is a deadbeat dad. That's what the scriptures is telling you about right now. A soft man, a deadbeat dad. He hates his woman. He hates his kids. All right? His possessions. Pretty much, man. Those are his possessions. And that's bitterness. Because bitterness turns into tension. It turns into tension. You know how they say tension in the room was so thick you could cut it with a knife? That's what happens. So it's like you get to a point where you can't talk to this person. That's that demon building up a stronghold. You ain't talked to him in 2 years, 3 years. That's that bitterness. That's that tension. That's that, oh, he did me wrong. You did me wrong. I did you wrong. I take you back. Yo, I'm on my R&B shit today. You understand? That's my shit. So, y'all did each other wrong or whatever. Whatever, man. Squash that shit. Okay? Squash that shit. All right? We don't hold grudges, man. We don't do that. You know? Ultimately, we do not hold grudges against one another, man. You want to hold a grudge? Hold that shit at Esau. Hold that at Esau, Edom. Hold that at the Moabites. Hold it at the Ammonites. Hold it at the Amorites. Hold it at Ishmael for what they did to us. Hold that at them, at the heathen nations. Don't hold that at your fellow brother. Lose that bitterness. Okay? Lose that bitterness. So back to Matthew 18. All right, where was we at? Verse 27. Then the Lord of that servant was moved with compassion and loosed him and forgave him the debt. Right? So compassion, mercy. Didn't the Most High have compassion on us? We should be all unalive. We should all be killed. But we're here today, right? We committed sins that's worthy of death. All right, in the world, man, I committed adultery. I smoked. You know, I did certain things that I know right now I would be put to death for. So we all did that. But we have been given compassion and mercy to repent and turn back, convert. That grace. All right? Yahawashi prayed for us. He begged for us. He pleaded for us. You know, he went to the Father for us. Right? Yeah, that's a good one. Ephesians 4:26. Be ye angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath. Exactly. You know? So, I'm not holding no grudge. Somebody made me mad today. I'm not holding that shit to tomorrow. Communicate. Even in your household with your woman. The Bible is going to teach you how to really deal with a woman. Because the Bible is going to teach you how to control and rule over your spirit. So it's going to teach you not to get into these petty ass arguments with your woman. My woman will tell me now, you used to go back and forth with me, but now you just don't do nothing. I can't get to you at all. I'm like, yeah, Shalawam. What you want? The Bible is going to strengthen you up as a man. Okay? Nobody's going to be able to break through your defenses like that anymore. And get to you. You have to, that's what it means when you gird up thy loins like a man. So you're mentally stronger. You're physically stronger. You're going to work out. You're going to do things of that nature. You're going to build your body. All right? You're psychologically stronger. You're emotionally stronger. You are a completely different person than you was in the world. And you know that, or you should feel it. If you truly living in this thing, you should know that. You are 100% 360 degrees different, all right, than who you used to be. That's why, and then, to stop bringing up your brothers be like, bringing up their past, like, man, in the world, man, fuck the world. You not in the world no more. So I don't care about how you was in the world. How are you now? How are you now? Always bringing up that old man. All right, let's get these precepts, man. I'm going to get up on out of here. This is Proverbs 14 and 29 from the brother Barak. And it reads, he that is slow to wrath is of great understanding, but he that is hasty of spirit exalteth folly. Right, be slow. Think about things. Being slow doesn't make you slow. You know, that's perfectly said. Being slow does not make you slow. Okay? So take your time. That's what a wise man does. I watch a lot of Japanese, Chinese joints, Jet Li's, Jackie Chan's, Bruce Lee's. They're what? They show wisdom. They're not haste to move in on an attack. They're not haste to do something. They're thinking about their actions. They're thinking about what they're about to do. They're not moving through anger. The ones that just move through anger, they get destroyed. They get unalived. And this is a battlefield. Life is a battlefield, man. Okay? So you can't move in haste on the battlefield. You're going to take a straight arrow. You're going to get in a position where you're surrounded by the enemy. And now what can you do? You moved in haste. You got separated. And that's for you lone wolf Israelites too. You feel like you don't need the group. So you just out here by yourself. Everybody, your whole platoon is over here. They fighting. But you out here by yourself. You taking heathens down. Boom, boom, boom. And now you look around and you're surrounded by heathens. And you're by yourself and all your brothers is over here. They fighting together as one unit. But you over here by yourself. And boom, you get took down. Stay with the group. Stay with the government. This is not an individual light. Not one man can do this. Okay? Yahawashi even went and got 12. Okay? It's strength in numbers, man. You got to walk through that thing by yourself. But right now, utilize the brotherhood, man. All right? So, yeah. He that is slow to wrath is of great understanding. Because you take your time, you plan it out, you're strategic, you're looking at the situation, you're considering the consequences. You're like, yo, this will happen, this will happen, this will happen, this will happen, boom, boom, boom. Right? But he that is hasty of spirit exalteth folly. Fools rush in. Fools rush in, man. And they continue to make the same mistakes because they didn't learn from the lessons that they went. They didn't even understand it was a lesson that they went in. They just looked at it like, whatever. It was a lesson. You should have learned from it. But if you don't learn from that lesson, you're going to continue to make that mistake and you're going to continue to have these situations. This is why some brothers have like 2, 3, 4, 5 baby mamas. You didn't learn from the first one? The first headache? Come on, man. All right, where two or more are gathered in the name of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, yeah, he will be in the midst of them. Exactly. So 2 is better than 1. And what, a threefold cord is not easily broken. Right? So Yahawashi sent us out 2 by 2. It's important to be amongst the brotherhood. All right. Proverbs 16 and 32. I get that. He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty. And he that ruleth his spirit, than he that taketh a city. Yeah, that's beautiful. So a wise man is better than a mighty man. A wise man that can rule and control his spirit is better than a mighty man, man. Okay? So it's important. Esau can kill all day. Yeah, he commits that all day. He commits murder all day. But does that make him great? He's great in murder, but he's not great in wisdom, what truly matters. He's not great in following Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. He doesn't understand life, but he could take you out all day. Right? He's not slow to anger. He's extremely hasty. That's why he's caught up in a situation with Iran right now that he can't get out. That's why Trump ducking down. This dude golfing with air to ground to air missiles beside him. If brothers saw that, he's on the golf course and you got these air to air missiles. I mean, all right, whatever, ground to air missiles. All right, they're right there. Okay, he's thinking somebody's gonna attack him right now, so he's terrified because he moved into a hasty situation. He can't get out of it now. Esau has been made bare. Right? Yeah, switching planes and shit. Yeah. This is crazy, man. We seeing the YT man. Hey, but we prayed for this day. Think about this, brothers. We in the midst. We prayed for this day, man. Okay? Job 38:3. Gird up now thy loins like a man, for I will demand of thee, and answer thou me. Yep, from the brother Yakar. So, what is Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi demanding of you right now? Ask yourself that. What is the commandment? What has been put out in this military? Bid them to the marriage. Learn, grow. Turn back to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. Okay? So, if you're not marching with us, then ultimately you marching against us. Because if we marching straight, but you going to the left, you eventually gonna get left behind and you're gonna make us weaker. I love to use the 300 analogy. This brother holds his shield. This brother holds his shield. His shield protects me. My shield protects him. Right? So if you marching over here and you not with me, then where is my protection? I'm about to get hit by a straight arrow. You were supposed to protect me from that arrow. So you got to march with us. Let them be of the same mind. Let them say the same things in that general spirit, right? Don't try to reinvent the wheel and create and do your own thing. And I think the elders should go into this more and blah, man. That's what happened to the Yanashas. That's what happened to these guys. Okay? You're not following the protocols. You're not following the correct way that things are being done. You're coming into the government, you're coming into the military, and you're trying to assert yourself as a captain or a general, a high level, when you don't even know anything. You have no experience. And you constantly show yourself to be a bug out. Proverbs 17:17. A friend loveth at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. Perfect. Going back to the 300 analogy. That's why you have the brotherhood. We are in adversity, right? So you need your brothers to fight with you, to be on your side, to grow with you. Each one teach one. Iron sharpeneth iron. Psalms 55:22 from the same brother. And it reads, cast thy burden upon Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved, and the just shall live by faith. So we believe in that. We have faith in that statement. We have faith in Jacob's trouble, we will be protected. All right? Even if we have to go and be martyred, he's going to put a spirit on us. So it's not going to be like we're going to be terrified. No, brothers ain't going to be terrified. We serve Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. We haven't been given a spirit of fear. If you terrified and you about to be took out, you most likely going to turn over. You most likely going to, hold up, I'll take the chip. That's you. That's going to be you. Because you got a fearful ass spirit. Okay? Now we going to have anxiety. Most definitely. Yahawashi had anxiety. But ultimately, he girded up his loins like a man, and he said, all right, let's do it. It's my time. It's time to go. I am what they say I am. All right? You said Corinthians 12. Which one? I get first. Because you ain't specify. 1 Corinthians 12 and verse 9. To another faith by the same spirit, to another, probably 2. Yep, that's a good one. 2 Corinthians 12 and 9. And he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Most gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in my infirmities than the power of Hamashiach may rest upon me. So Sirach 2, whatever is given upon you, take it cheerfully. All right. So all this stuff that's on us, you take it cheerfully. Okay. You know. What's going on in these comments? Yeah, that's sister cool, bro. You know, but sister, just chill out in the comments. But she cool though. She being alive all the time. To the sister MG. But she being alive all the time. She know the names. But just chill out. All right. I get a couple more, man, and I'm gonna get up out of here. Matthew 18-20 from the brother Yakar. And it reads, for when 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there I am in the midst of them. So all you need really is 2 brothers, bro. That's it. That's Israelites coming together to deliberate. That's a church. All right? 2 brothers on the corner. That's all you need. Okay? That's a church. So with that comes the orders that come with a church. Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi is in the midst. His spirit is flowing. If you're coming in those names, Halalyam Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi Bahasham Kakadash, if you're saying that, you're coming in the correct spirit. Okay? So that's important. So don't think that you're going to need, like IUIC, you're going to need thousands of men. No. When did Jeremiah have thousands of men? Did Elijah have thousands of men? Okay. Did Ezekiel have thousands of men? Did Yahawashi have thousands of men? Come on, man. Why you got to change it up? Where does it change up like that? Who decided that you need all these men? Okay? Where was that at? Did Samuel have thousands? Samuel went around by himself. He had an assistant. That was it. All right? And then his assistant got slayed. So Samuel went around by himself. Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi is with him. We don't need all the fancy get-ups. We don't need all that stuff that these guys got, man. We are the true men of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. Okay? Yeah, he going off. The brother said, I was talking to a guy in IUIC yesterday. Bro was trying to tell me I'm going off for not having fringes. Yeah, he going off. He going off. Because he what? He over righteous. The brother said, and we was in the gym. He had fringes on? He had fringes on in the gym? Man, they goofy, man. They goofy. And really, to be honest, your true garment is this truth. Okay? Your true garment is this truth. That's like, bro, you at your family. Let's break this down real quick. I'm gonna get one more precept and I'm gonna get out. You at your family reunion. Okay? Your family started talking about the Bible and you like, oh yeah, okay, we could talk. Boom, 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 boom. Do you run to the car? Do you run home and get your garment just so you could teach? I'm asking a question. Do you run to the car, get your garment, and then you put your garment on, and then you say, okay, now we can talk about the Bible? Or do you just sit there with your Aunt Sally and y'all talk? You sit there with your Uncle Martin and y'all talk. Your garment is this truth, man. You understand? These dumbass niggas. So if you don't got fringes on, you can't teach. If you don't got fringes on, hey, bro, I don't got my fringes on, bro. I can't break down no scriptures, bro. I can't break down nothing. That's how dumb they sound. They're over righteous and they're gonna get destroyed. Anybody that's still in IUIC, all right, when Jacob's trouble come, if they haven't figured out that shit is full of deception, then they're going to be destroyed. Yahawah don't want them, man. Now, if he wants them, he will pull them up out of that shit. All right? He will pull them up out of that. And that's what they don't understand. The brother said, I told him I don't wear it because we need to be discreet in these times. So he said, put it on my undershirts. Yeah. I would literally cuss his ass out. But I don't go to no gym. But I ain't knocking brothers go gym. You do your thing. Do whatever you want to do, you know what I'm saying? But I don't like people, man. Fuck people, bro. I'll be honest, because people are dumb. Just that statement right there that dude is saying. He's so fucking dumb. Like that, he's so dumb. How are you so dumb? And that's their leadership, man. That's their leadership, man. Because their leader is stupid, so they stupid. I get this Ecclesiastes 10 and 13. And if you don't agree with what I'm saying, then you dumb too. The beginning of the words of his mouth is foolishness, and the end of his talk is mischievous madness. All right, and that's how these fools are. I got to read verse 12 to get the full point. The words of a wise man's mouth are gracious, but the lips of a fool will swallow up himself. He's caught up in his own madness. Everything that he's saying, he believes. These lies that he's telling himself, he believes. Motherfuckers probably wear fringes in the shower. I'm serious. They probably wear fringes in the shower. They got fringes on their car. You know? But hey, brothers, I'm going to get up on out of here, man. All right. If any questions, ask them right now. You know, that's all I got. That's all I got. All right. Don't be over righteous, man. Don't be over righteous. Yeah, they doing it to be seen. They just want to be, they Jews on the outward, but not on the inward. They are Israelites on the outward, but not on the inward. It's heathen mindsets, man. But hey, I don't see no questions, so hey, facing the east, giving all praises, honor, and glory be to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Kakodash, and double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the great millstone, which rule well and teach well and sincerity taught us this truth. And Shalawam to the Lord's hopeful elect. All right, Kwam Yasharahla and a Baba Ball. All right, you say you about to do a lesson on your Nasha. Hey, do your thing. I'm done talking about him. That brother has a serious demon on him. An extreme demon. And he didn't take the last rebuke. So he has an extreme demon. You know. And hey, the Most High is ultimately gonna destroy him. I'm gonna get one precept and then I'm out. Proverbs 29:1. He that being often reproved hardeneth his neck shall suddenly be destroyed, and that without remedy. So that's him. He's been often reproved. He's hardeneth his neck. All right? And He said he gonna knock me out in front of my wife and my daughter. What, bro? Are you serious, bro? It's like you got to know these guys are goofy. He's goofy in the world. All right, he's not in his truth. You could tell by his mentality. Okay, he's not a man of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. He wants to be. Okay, he made up a story about him being in Delta Force because what? I was in the military, so I guess he want to be in the military. You see, like, the nigga need to get off my nuts, man. You know? Man, no, I'm going to show y'all that shit. I wasn't even going to talk about it. This shit is weird, bro. These guys are extremely weird. He said, I'll beat your ass. Send me your Yamin. What is a Yamin? Where you be preaching at, young bull? I'm like, bro, I'm not from Philly, bro. I don't know what you talk about, bro. This is why YN should not preach. And no problem, Malak. I'll pray for you because you obviously need a faith booster. What? You see, he talking to himself at this point. Young bull is a turkey. Do we got to set up a match or something? Dang, KO you right in front of your little daughter. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, hey, you know where I'm from, bro. We from Richmond County, bro. We ain't on that shit. All right, we don't do all that talking. That's crazy. I grew up with drug dealers and killers, man. Get the fuck out of here. Okay? We ain't on that. Okay? I know what real is. I know if you know what I'm saying. I was in the world. All right? So that shit is stupid. But yeah, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi gonna get him. All right. But yeah, hey, Shalawam, y'all. Shalawam.